Guys, this is Chaos Chrono back with another deck opening. We're on to deck number 8 of our Dark Tidings display. Got a bit of a lull in the last couple decks, but hopefully that'll change. So let's see what we got today. We have a Shadows, Saurian, and Logos deck. Widow Branch of the Burg, Purple Archon, so that's always a good sign, right? Let's get this set up and see what we got. Starting with Shadows, we have Walk the Plank. It's an action. If your opponent has no Amber, deal 4 damage to a creature. Otherwise, steal 1 Amber. Sea Urchin. 1 power creature with poison. When you play him, capture 1 Ember. If the tide is high, steal 1 Ember instead. One-Eyed Willa, 2 power creature. While the tide is high, One-Eyed Willa gains Elusive and Skirmish. Fight, steal 1 Ember. Hornswoggle, Amber whenever you play it, and it's enhanced with the draw icon. It's an action. Use an enemy artifact as if it were yours. 2 copies of Hornswoggle. Hobsnobber, 3 power creature with action. If your opponent has 6 Amber or more, steal 2 Amber. 2 copies of him. Cement Shoes, Amber whenever you play it. It's an action. Deal 2 damage to a creature. If this damage destroys that creature, raise the tide. Hand Cannon, it's an upgrade. Amber whenever you play it. This creature gains Skirmish and Fight. Move 1 Amber from the creature this creature fights to your pool. Freebooter Fae, it's a 4 power creature with play, raise the tide, and reap. If the tide is high, steal 1 Ember. Scallykeeper, 2 power creature with Skirmish. Scallykeeper enters play under your opponent's control and can be used as if it belonged to any house. At the end of your turn, destroy 1 of Scallykeeper's neighbors. So that would be during the opponent's turn. Finch Cloak, 4 power creature with Fight Reap. If you have less Amber than your opponent, steal 1 Amber. Otherwise, each player gains 1 Amber. That's it for Shadows. Moving on to Saurians, we have Indominus. It's a 12 power creature. While the tide is low, Indominus deal no damage when fighting. Reach Advantage, it's an action. Amber whenever you play it. If the tide is high, a friendly creature captures 3 Amber. Otherwise, raise the tide. Faust the Great, 4 power creature. Your opponent's keys cost +1 Amber for each friendly creature with Amber on it. And when you play him, you may exalt a friendly creature. Decadence. It's an action. Play, choose 1, exalt, ready, and use a friendly creature, or move 1 Amber from a creature to another creature. 2 copies of Decadence. Sensorfilo, 5 power creature. Sensorfilo cannot be dealt damage by creatures with Amber on them. 2 copies of him. Trojan Sauropod. It's an artifact with Amber whenever you play it. Trojan Sauropod enters play under your opponent's control. Omni. Gain 3 Amber. Your opponent reveals their hand and puts each creature from it into play ready. Then refills their hand as if it were their draw card step. Destroy Trojan Sauropod. It's an interesting trade-off. Hedonistic Intent. Amber whenever you play it. It's an action. Exalt each flank creature. I know you didn't. It's an action. Amber whenever you play it and enhance with a draw icon. Destroy an enemy creature with Amber on it. Works well with that other card. ISS Indominus. It's an artifact. Action. Exhaust up to 5 friendly Saurian creatures. For each creature exhausted this way, deal 1 damage to each enemy creature. Cool. 2 copies of that, which isn't going to be very good. That's it for Saurians. Moving on to Logos. Talmage Steelheart. It's a 3 power creature with play. Give him a +1 power counter for each card you have played this turn, including this one. Science. It's an action. For the remainder of the turn, after you play another action card, gain 1 Amber. P.I. Sweven. 2 power creature with Reap. If the tide is high, draw 3 cards. Phase Shift. It's an action. You may play a non-Logos card this turn. Information exchange in action, steal 1 amber. If your opponent stole amber from you on their previous turn, steal 2 amber instead. Infomorph, 4 power creature that enhanced 2 draw icons that we saw. Australis Seaborg, 4 power creature with Reap, deal 2 damage to a creature. If this damage destroys that creature, raise the tide. Little deja vu there for the description. Mind Bullets, it's an action card. Deal 1 damage to each creature for each card you have played this turn, including this one. Philo the Researcher, 1 power creature with Elusive. After a creature is played adjacent to Philo the Researcher, draw a card. Eureka, it's an action card. Amber whenever you play it, with Alpha, and gain 2 amber. You can archive 2 random cards. Anomaly Exploiter, it's an artifact. Action, destroy a damaged creature. Academy Training, it's an upgrade. If you control this creature, it belongs to House Logos, instead of its original house. This creature gains Reap, draw a card. Alright, that's it for the deck. So let's get this sorted out and see what the main highlights of this deck are. Looking at the highlights of the deck, starting with Shadows, we have a good number of steals available in the house. So Shadows is doing what it does best. However, it's mainly in their creatures, and some of these effects are quite situational. For example, a Hobsnobber that requires your opponent to have 6 amber or more before you can steal with that card. The 2 copies of Hornswoggle is always nice for some artifact control. Cement Shoes is an all-important tide control card. And finally, Scally Caper is always good for messing with your opponent's board. For the Saurians, the ISS Indominus, unfortunately we have 2 copies, and we have 4 creatures in Saurians. We have Dino You Didn't, which pairs well with the Hedonistic Intent, at least for targeting the opponent's flying creatures. Also, Hedonistic Intent works well with Sensor Philo, so those creatures are unable to target Sensor Philo. The Trojan Sauropod is a fair trade-off, but given the number of creatures in this deck, it's not great. It's a below average creature count, so the Trojan Sauropod seems to be more advantageous for your opponent, as you're more likely to have a hand that doesn't have that many creatures. Decadence helps you move amber around again, or use your creatures a bit more frequently. However, the amber that you put on them is pretty risky, given that the amber control in this deck is board based and situational. Faust is always nice to see, and with the Exalting we can do to friendly creatures, it's going to be a solid amber control as well. Reach Advantage, again, more amber control, but more importantly, it is tide control. For Logos, Anomaly Exploiter works well with the Mind Bullets and a couple of other direct damage cards. The rest of Logos is kind of split. We have Eureka, Philo the Researcher, Phase Shift, and PI Sweven that helps you cycle through more cards. Science is not too bad here, as there are 4 other action cards that you can play to help you generate amber. It's a little all over the board for Logos. So, that being said, the overall numbers feel okay in terms of specs, in terms of number of cards that affect any given category, such as amber generation, amber control, etc. However, the quality of it is a little lacking, and overall I would rate this at about a 62. Well, that wraps up this deck. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Let me know what you guys thought about it. Feel free to leave any comments or suggestions below, and I'll see you guys in the next episode. Till then, be kind and happy forging!